President Biden stood on a Michigan picket line in solidarity with auto workers who have been on strike for 12 days against the big three automakers, General Motors, Ford, and Stellantis. And now, Trump, campaigning in Michigan, is looking to gain the support of these same workers, with electric vehicles becoming a new focal point of climate and economic-related division between the two candidates. But Trump has to face a stark reality. In 2016, he wooed UAW members with big promises, ensuring auto workers that
we are going to bring back the automobile industry to Michigan, bigger and better and stronger than ever before.
And that
if I'm elected, you won't lose one plant. You'll have plants coming into this country. You're going to have jobs again. You won't lose one plant. I promise you that. I promise you.
Because of this, he was able to beat the Democrats' long-held advantage with union households and won over the Michigan electorate, something a Republican presidential candidate had been unable to do since 1988. But after taking office, these promises not only failed to come true, but in some cases, the opposite happened. Less than a year later after making these promises in Michigan, General Motors announced layoffs at its plant in Warren. And in 2019, the company announced it would fully close the transmission plant, along with 4 others. The Bureau of Labor Statistics reported a fall in employment in the motor vehicles and parts manufacturing sector in 2019 after years of steady increase. On top of these examples, during his presidency, Trump weakened the power of government unions. His administration proposed eliminating collective bargaining for Postal Service workers and made changes in appointments to the National Labor Relations Board that hurt workers. Ultimately, Trump's failure to live up to lofty promises while in office damaged the relationship between the former president and union members. Now, as an example of how far his support has fallen with these workers, UAW leader Shawn Fain denounced Trump's planned visit to Michigan to speak at a non-union facility. It's these failures that contributed to Trump's loss in Michigan in 2020, and what could be a problem for him to beat Biden in the state in 2024. But this won't lead to a sure win for the current president either. Although Biden promised to be the most pro-union president, the UAW has not endorsed him, with Shawn Fain stating that their endorsement has to be earned. Moments like Biden's historic appearance on the UAW picket line could help win over many union members who were let down by the unfulfilled promises of Trump.
You guys, the UAW, you saved the automobile industry back in 2008 and before. Made a lot of sacrifices, gave up a lot, and the companies were in trouble. But now they're doing incredibly well. And guess what? You should be doing incredibly well too.
Trump is coming after Biden on regulations over electric vehicle production to win back auto workers. But just last month, the president won approval from Fain with a Department of Energy funding plan designed to ensure electric vehicles are built by union members.
It was a great day for our members. Today was about our membership, and their fight and people understanding that fight. And so, it was a historic day. I mean, the fact that a sitting U.S. president visited a picket line for the first time in our nation's history. I mean, that cannot be minimized. It can't go unnoticed. It's a very important time in our history, and this is a very important fight we're in. I mean, this is a fight for the future of the working class. First off, our focus right now is 100% on getting a great agreement for our members. And, today was really about our workers. Endorsements and things like that, we'll do those things at the appropriate time. And there's still work left to be done. I mean, this EV transition, it's important. And, we believe in a green economy, but it's got to be a just transition. So, we want these, as we move forward in this transition, we want these jobs to have our standards in it. It cannot be a race to the bottom. And that's what these companies are trying to push. They're all for taking all of our tax dollars, helping finance this transition. But when it comes to taking care of the workers, the companies keep trying to take us backwards, and it's unacceptable. So there's still work left to do. I think it's sad, that all we hear is fear, and it's a sad time when workers are asking for their fair share of economic and social justice. Every time we step up and ask for something, we're painted as militant and we don't understand things. Let me tell you what we do understand. In the last decade, these companies have made $250 billion in profits off the backs of our members. They've made $21 billion in the first 6 months of this year off the backs of our workers. CEO pay went up 40% in the last 4 years. No one said a thing about how that's going to affect the price of cars or the economy. The price of vehicles went up 35% over the last 4 years. Not because of our wages. Our wages went up 6% in the last 4 years. We've went backwards in purchasing power And you know, that's the sad reality here. And anytime working class people stand up for themselves, there's always this mantra of fear being put out there that if we pay the workers this, it's going to hurt the economy, it's going to raise the car prices. All these things have happened when we've went backwards in wages. And again, it's the companies driving this race to the bottom, and they're using our tax dollars to finance it. And you know, I find a pathetic irony that the former president is going to hold a rally for union members at a non-union business. And you know, all you have to do is look at his track record. His track record speaks for itself. In 2008, during the Great Recession, he blamed UAW members. He blamed our contracts for everything that was wrong with these companies. That's a complete lie. In 2015, when he was running for president, he talked about doing a rotation, taking all these good paying jobs in the Midwest and moving them somewhere in the South where people will work for less money, and then to make people beg for their jobs back at lower wages. And the ultimate show of his how much he cares about our workers was in 2019 when he was the president of the United States. Where was he then? GM was our workers at GM were on strike for 60 days, for 2 months. They were out there on the picket lines. I didn't see him hold a rally. I didn't see him stand up at the picket line, and I sure as hell didn't hear him comment about it. He was missing in action. I see no point in meeting with him because I don't think the man has any bit of care about what our workers stand for, what the working class stands for. He serves a billionaire class, and that's what's wrong with this country.
Auto companies have seen record profits, including the last few years, because of the extraordinary skill and sacrifices of the UAW workers. But those record profits have not been shared fairly, in my view, with those workers. Just as the Treasury Department has released a report pointing out that the most comprehensive report ever dealing with how unions are good for both union workers and non-union workers and the overall economy. Unions raise workers' wages, they said, incomes, increase home ownership, increase retirement savings, increase access to critical benefits like sick leave and child care, and reduce inequality, all of which strengthen our economy for all workers. That's because unions raise standards across the workplaces and entire industries, pushing up wages and strengthening benefits for everyone. That's why strong unions are critical to a growing economy and growing it from the middle out, the bottom up, not the top down. That's especially true as we transition to a clean energy future, which we're in the process of doing. I believe that transition should be fair and a win-win, for auto workers and auto companies. But I also believe the contract agreement must lead to a vibrant Made in America future that promotes good, strong middle-class jobs that workers can raise a family on. Where the UAW remains at the heart of our auto economy, and where the big three companies continue to lead in innovation, excellence, quality, and leadership. And they've been around the clock, and the companies have made some significant offers. But I believe they should go further to ensure record corporate profits mean record contracts for the UAW. Let me say that again. Record corporate profits, which they have, should be shared by record contracts for the UAW. And just as we're building an economy of the future, we need labor agreements for the future. The bottom line is that auto workers help create America's middle class. They deserve a contract that sustains them in the middle class. So thank you very much. That's all I'm going to say.